Business?
Yeah, what kind of business? Yeah.
How could I say? Technical, that kind of. Anything.
The heaters?
TV,
TVs?
TV segment and toys for the children, dress, anything, we did it.
And you were exporting stuff from China to Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
And these were goods made in Guangzhou or?
Especially Guangzhou, Zhejiang, and that place.
And how did you start that? I mean, your father was a teacher, right? How did you get into business?
In that time, the Kazakhstan is new place. Everybody, they can do business. And because in Kazakhstan, there are no their own product. Any kind of things, dresses, even foods is imported from China. So we began to, we think in the price is very different. Especially in Kazakhstan in that time, one TV, 29 dюйм.
29 centimeters? Limi?
How could in 29寸,
29寸, okay.
In Kazakhstan in that time almost 3,000 yuan.
3,000 yuan.
But in China 1,000 yuan. That's very easy to make it. Very easy. So the difference is very large, and we did it, and we earned the money.
Were you a smuggler?
Were
you a smuggler?
Smuggler, I don't understand.
这是中文怎么说？就是没付税的，没交税的。没交税的进口。
没交 No， 注册那不是。我们上税的，我们每一个都是合法的，合法的。我们因为当时我们都是提供给那些做生意的人，你是无法逃税的。You can't. We have two words. This and tax. You can't escape.
You can't definitely. And so you moved to Kazakhstan then in 2000 with your parents?
Yeah.
Okay. And why did they choose to move? Your dad had done a lot of things in China. Why did he want to move to Kazakhstan?
In the first Independence Day, my father went to immigrate from China to Kazakhstan in 1991.
In 1991 already?
Yeah,
okay.
He has that idea. But after that he changed that. Because he changed. He went to stay in China and then have his private business also. Family business. Horses, sheep also. And we waited there. And after then, in Kazakhstan, the society is not so peace enough in that time. And language is not Kazakh language.
Russian.
Yeah, Russian. And our father and our family members get so many information that. And my father said, after you grow up, and after me, and he said, we will immigrate. And you need to study Russian. And after you study well Russian, maybe we immigrate. And after then, so many things happened. Our family business happened, something changed. And every year we plan it. Okay, this year we will immigrate. But after then, 2000, we have that opportunity. But they have one problem is, from the 1991, making passport in China is very easy to 1995. But from 1995 to 2000, making passport, get one passport to Chinese citizen, it is very difficult. Because Chinese government forbid the Kazakh minority get Chinese passport in that time. But after 2000, they said if you get one invitation letter from Kazakhstan, you could make a passport.
So who gave you the invitation letter? Do you remember?
My relatives, my friend sent me more than 10 invitation letter from Kazakhstan.
Oh.
But every time my invitation letter, I send it to the Chinese police, and I require the get one Chinese passport. After then, I will get one Kazakhstan visa, and I will immigrate. But Chinese police said this invitation letter is false or not valid. And after then we let them send one invitation letter. How could I say? 谈亲邀请函.
Okay. Yep.
And after then 商务邀请函. After then 留学邀请函. 留学.
Studying.
And all the invitation letter is rejected by our policemen, and I didn't remember. It is more than 10 times. And also we, from the 1997 or 1996, we worked with police, and after 4 years, we get passport.
The whole family.
Yeah.
How many brothers and sisters you have?
Only 4.
Only 4 in total, including you, or 5 including you? Including you, there are 4, or
No, 4 children and
children?
with parents.
4. Okay, 4. And they all came to Kazakhstan?
Yeah.
Are you the oldest?
I have also one sister
An older sister.
and the 2 brothers.
Right. And so, at that time, did you learn Russian?
No, I didn't. My Russian is almost 20 years past. My Russian is not get good progress. But you can't study Russian in Kazakhstan. And everybody know you are from China, and they think your Kazakh is better, and they try to speak with you Kazakh, and no any opportunity to speak in Russian. Not only if you meet some sellers, the Russian people or not Kazakh people. But one of my friends, they living in Russia, they also worked in Moscow, but they studied very well because they hasn't any kind of opportunity to speak in Kazakh. But in Kazakhstan, anywhere you can speak Kazakh.
So did you, after moving to Kazakhstan, did you keep the import business going?
Yeah. Sometimes earn money, sometimes lost. Sometimes everything is very easy, sometimes everything is very bad.
Was it your business or your father's business?
My.
Yours. And so did you, for how many, you moved here in 2000, and for how many years did you keep going with that business?
I changed my business so frequently.
Oh.
And after 2003, I invest my money to buy and sell the buildings.
Oh, property.
Property. And buy one house and waiting some time or make some repair, after then sell good price, or buy some non-finished cottage, after then repair it, remont it, and after then sell it good price. But 2009, I'm bankrupt.
Bankrupt?
Yeah, because in that time the price of the house, real estate, is going down. So yeah, after then I stopped it, and I began to import and export again.
So were you just houses, or did you end up with commercial buildings? Did you like
not commercial buildings?
How about apartments?
Not. One time three houses. 5 houses, more 10 houses in more time. Not so big. Oh. Not so big. It is not a big business. Little business.
Do you do the work yourself? Do you know how to fix houses by yourself, or you hired people to do that?
I have one team in that time. My friends also. One non-finished the house. I organize people finish that house. After then sell good price. It is just, how could I say? It is a little business, not so good. One non-finished one cottage in that time only $200,000 US.
Okay.
After you repair it, remount it, 300,000. But you pay the friends also, the team members.
Right. And so what were you importing and exporting in 2009?
Dressing, TV, DVD, VCD, and also toy for the children, anything.
Did you have a store?
Yeah, in Zelahab, in big store in Almaty.
Did you?
Yeah.
Like a department store, or what kind of store?
Not, we lend it. You can't buy it. We pay every month to the store owner,
Right.
and after then buy it. Sometimes store is empty, sometimes with product. Yeah.
But it was like I could go in, or it was a whole, like, was it a PIFA or a PIFA Shangdian, or?
Yeah, PIFA.
So wholesale.
Yeah.
Oh, I see.
But 你得明白啊，在哈萨克斯坦，这些做生意他们都是有很大的风险，很大的风险，因为不稳定啊，不稳定啊。
What is so then? Tell me, Atajur. What's the history of Atajur?
We organized this team is because Chinese government began to arrest Kazakhs.
Right.
Before Atajur, I worked on social media, and I call it the Kazakhs. I call them immigrate from China to Kazakhstan immediately. And because I'm write the one book called in English 1001 traveling history.
Okay.
And it is in Chinese language 1001次旅行记。1001次旅行记。And I wrote it one of my website.
Oh, okay.
Because all the Kazakhs website in China, in Arabian language, I give money to them. More than 20 website.
Oh, okay.
I offer the money to them. I pay for the server. I pay for this site manager. But after 2009, after the 5th July occasion, and most of the websites is closed by Chinese Communist Party. And from 2009, I began to write.
So before 2009, those 20 websites, were those an investment for you? Did you see that as a business?
Not business, because all of the website is built by the students, but they haven't enough money. But I give money to them.
And what kind of websites were there?
So many websites. Bozbala, Singaza, Kultegen.
But they were, what kind of, they were selling things, or what?
Not selling. It is just like Facebook, social, just like some forum website. Forum websites, yeah.
Discussion.
And discussion. Everybody can write every kind of material about culture, about Kazakhstan, about social things, any kind.
But why would you do that? I mean, you had a business, you had other things. Why would you do that?
Because the Kazakh culture, especially the Arabian transcript in China, but the Cyrillic script in Kazakhstan, and we almost lost our culture. And most of the young people began to study in Han Chinese school, and only we are the last generation who typing in Kazakh and speaking in Kazakh in China. So especially in Arabian transcript. It is also in Kazakh language, but transcript in Arabian.
Right.
So we call them Tötöşe or Baytursunov Alpesi. So we think we are the last generation. After us, nobody can use that transcript, because in Kazakh Cyrillic also. So I think it is a little money to pay for the students, and they have very strong interest to our national culture. So every year I pay for them $1,000, and next one is $2,000, third one is $3,000, that kind of not big money. And they just pay for the server fee. But after 2009, most of them is closed by Chinese government, and the, how could I say, censor,
Shanchu.
delete so many articles,
Right.
and they very sensitive to history. We couldn't speak about our hero like Osman Bator. We couldn't write about our history in Turkestan Republic time, and we couldn't talk about our hero in that for 1940 or 1930 that time. So we think the Chinese government will give more and more pressure to Kazakhs, we think. So I think it is only one way is immigrate from China to Kazakhstan. So all that websites, I call the young guys, young generation, immigrate immediately. But in that time, making business in China is very easy, but making business in Kazakhstan very difficult. And so many young guys, they think the Kazakhstan is not suitable for, and so many young Kazakhs, they choose staying in China, and they don't like to immigrate. But I call it them, and every day I wrote myself. I wrote in that forum, in nickname, call it the Jharkhand Jeta, Jharkhand 7.
Jharkhand 7.
7. And in Chinese, Jharkhand Chi. And I call them, I teach them, move, immigrate immediately. So that's a big history, and that's a book, 7 book. Some young students published that book in private printers. It is more than 5,000 A4 pages.
5,000 A4 pages. And sorry, that's a history of everything that people wrote on the forum, or it's a history of what?
No, I wrote it. I wrote it.
You wrote it?
Yeah, because I'm traveling to so many countries, and I talk about our history. I talk about our generations. I talk about Kazakhstan. I talk about the Kazakhstan immigration policy. Any kind of thing. I talk and I wrote. After then, our reader collected all this information and printed it in by printer privately. It is 7 books.
7 books.
Yeah.
So why were you traveling to so many countries?
I like to travel.
For fun?
For fun.
So where have you all been?
So many countries, except Africa. So many.
Not for business, just for fun.
Just fun. 1 week, 10 days. Go back, continue business.
Have you been to Canada?
Only 3 days.
3 days. In which city?
Capital.
In Ottawa.
Yeah.
Okay. Why Ottawa?
Yeah, Toronto is 4 hours.
Yeah, 4 or 5 hours by car. That's
Yeah.
right. Huh. But why? You just wanted to see the capital?
No, with my friends. Our plan is destination is America. We're driving.
But you landed in Toronto. Oh, interesting.
But it is almost so many years ago. That time I'm young.
And so in 2009, when those websites disappeared, had you saved any of the things people had written? Had you saved sort of the content? 내가 내용 손만.
In my PC.
In your PC. Okay.
Yeah.
You still have that. Okay.
All the books which I wrote and everything is I save it my computer by PNG format and HTML format also, and also you could watch it in. Now some of them on internet. I save it to Google.
Okay, got it. And with those websites, this was a cultural thing. Was your father involved at all in that, or was this all you?
My father is sometimes he advised me how could I write, because he is a very how could I say, brain is very good, and about history especially. Yeah.
And how did you study history?
Writing, Kazakh. We learned it from our ancient, we learned it from our books, because we have very strong interest to our national history. Because it is not taught in Chinese school, but we learn it from our house, in our family. In Chinese history, there are only Qin Shi Huang, Mao Zedong, what's that? Liu Bang, Han Wudi, but we haven't any kind of interest on them. In third class or fourth class, they teach us Qi Huang Gong, Qi Hong Gong, so many Chinese names. I can't remember because it is very similar. And I ask my teacher, why don't you teach us our national history? When I am young, I asked. My teacher is almost fell down because it is very sensitive question in that time. Because that's a crime nationalist. But I think I am a Kazakh. Why the school teach me the Han Chinese history? Even I didn't read or I didn't spell their name. Qin Shi Huang. It is very strange name. It is not like Kazakh name, Serik or Ablai Khan or Kabambay.
But you went to school in the Kazakh language?
Yeah.
Okay. You went to your dad's school, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Your dad's school was from kindergarten all the way to
Yeah,
Kaohsiung?
Yeah.
And so, sorry, then Atajurk. When did Atajurk start?
Atajurk is began from 2017.
2017?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because after the Chinese government arrested so many Kazakhs, we think it is time to stand up and working against China.
How did you first start to hear about Kazakhs being arrested?
First, I built a WhatsApp group.
Okay.
Before WhatsApp, I built so many WeChat groups, but we found that WeChat is controlled by Chinese government. And after that, we changed it and we teach the people give up, abandon WeChat and change it to WhatsApp. Because all of the family members, loved ones are in China, so they can't give up WeChat. And we build the WhatsApp groups and we let the people talk. And I began to talk about the Xinjiang policy. And after that, some people will say their father disappeared. Some people will say their brother disappeared. And after that, we collected the information and published that information to the foreign media, also in Kazakh media.
Do you remember who was the first person to tell you about, I don't know what name they used, but re-education or political education or training, Kesunjongsin? Do you remember who was the first person to tell you about that?
The first case is about one of the imam.
Oh.
The imam's name is Akimat.
Akimat?
Given name is Janak.
Jamak.
Janak.
Janak. Okay.
And Akimat Janak is, he was forced and he killed in re-education camps.
Do you know, so who would have told you about that? How would you have heard that?
We get that information through WeChat because the Akimat's classmates, they're Laoxiang, village persons also, the people who visited his mosque, because Akimat is one of the famous imam in China, especially in Kazakh society. So I think the time is began. I collected Akimat's photo. Akimat is not my friend. I found the classmates and his classmates. Akimat is finished the Xinjiang Islamic Institute.
Okay.
And I found one of his friends and I got his pictures and I wrote the articles and I sent it to the foreign media and the local media. And began everything is published one by one, collected. After more than 40 articles published, we think it is time to make one conference. And after then we planned to make one conference at Almaty, and we invited so many WIP persons.
So many
WIP, local persons, writers, politicians, and we held one conference at Almaty also.
What year was that? The first one?
First time is біздің конференция уақытымыз қашан еді аға? Бірінші реткі конференциямыз.
Бірінші өткен осы жерде ме?
Жоқ, анау ең алғаш сіз келіп қатынасатын
Ол деген тұра тұр. Мынау 2019, 2018,
17
2017 болды. 2017 жаз айы ғой, май ма, июль ме, білмеймін. Жаз.
Maybe the May of 2017, the first conference
Okay.
about re-education camps.
Why do you think Kazakhstan has become such a good place to understand the re-education system?
Because more than 500,000 Kazakhs already immigrated from China to Kazakhstan, and more than 200 of them already get Kazakhstan citizenship.
200,000.
Yeah, 200,000 of them. And these Kazakhs, 500,000, most of them stayed at Kazakhstan with Kazakhstan green card. And because the green card, it is easy to going China, visiting Kazakhstan, it is easy, making business. And all these Kazakhs, they have relatives, loved ones, family members, friends, village persons, teachers. They already arrested or disappeared. After then, they get that information because they visiting China frequently. And after they get visited and find his brother or his brother's wife or his uncle disappeared and sent to that so-called education center. And the first time, most of them believed that that's just an education center. Even me, I believe that it is just a political education training center. But after then, we believe that they arrested with black. They covered the black
hood.
Black
Hood. Yeah.
on his boot, and
Yeah.
with chains, and arrested by Chinese police, and legs and hands with chained iron chains. And after then, we believe that it is not training center. It is so-called education center, but in real, it is a jail, and worse than jail. We believe it.
Why?
Because we get information that so many Kazakhs died inside. Just like that Akimat Janak, the most popular and the famous imam in Kazakh society in Xinjiang, China. And they died. And so many common persons who visited the mosque or who give money to the mosque or who is very active in society, who has different idea, and who has sent their family members to Kazakhstan, or any kind of person. Some people disappeared at all, some people died, inside died, or after release from camps died suddenly.
Do you have, I know you keep very careful records, what is your estimate of how many Kazakhs have died in the camps?
We haven't correct statistics. We haven't. Ай, бүгін мына кісімен ұзақ отыратын көрінем. Қайта беріңіз оған. Онда қайта беріңіз. Мен ұмытып кеттім ғой аға.
Do you still have a business now?
No, I haven't the time.
When did you give that up?
Almost 3 years ago I stopped it. Because I didn't stop it suddenly. I went to work with Atajurt and also my business. But after then I found I haven't enough spirit and enough time to control it. So I give it up.
But, I mean, you have, how big is the staff? How many people, how many employees for Atajurt right now?
Not employee, all of them are volunteers. All of them volunteers. He working in our office,
Uh-huh.
Mr. Sanat,
Uh-huh.
with his camera.
Uh-huh.
He is a cameraman.
Uh-huh.
Now he working with his camera also. We didn't pay for his camera, and he working, and he make recording video and publishing our YouTube channel. Everything is free.
Really?
Yeah, and oh, so many things that the people give us.
That tripod?
Yeah, that chairs is given by the people, and that chair made by one of the team member. He make that chair.
But you have rent costs. You have quite a lot of space here. How do you pay for the rent then?
And I called the people because this office's fee for 1 year is 3 million tenge. So I announced to the people we need 3 million tenge, and we have to pay, and we need to collect the testimony about the education camps. And after almost 1 month, 3 million tenge is gathered, collected. One people is 10,000, one people is 100,000. Next people is 5,000 tenge. 3 million is enough. After that, okay, I said, that's okay. I paid.
When is the last time you went to China?
I didn't remember clearly. 2013?
Okay.
I didn't remember clearly.
You're a Kazakh citizen?
Yeah,
Since when?
2000.
Since 2000.
2001 I get it.
Oh, I see. Oh, interesting. But I mean, you must not be making any money right now. Why would you do this instead of
Making money.
making money? Yeah.
Because I think making money I can do it every time. And also
You can do it anytime.
anytime. But in that time it's a very special time. Now my wife is also make our private business, not so good. We have one dress store.
Oh, okay.
My wife.
For what kind of dress? Men's or women's?
Just a custom for men.
Custom suit.
Yeah.
A tailor.
Yeah.
裁缝.
No, 就是服装普通的西装
Oh, okay.
行
Okay, all right.
I want to make sure if they are coming. 혹시 가보고 싶은데?
예, 하이콘.
Have you been able to call him?
No,
Why don't you call him and check?
I can't call them.
Oh.
Қалай? Кімге?
Просто
Айтып қойдым. Келе жатыр.
ол кісілер things that
Do you want my phone?
no, they're coming.
Рахима келе жатыр. Тұрсынбек ол да келе жатыр. Тұрсынбек ана жігіт қой. Анау жігіт.
Yeah.
Ана дуа, иә келе
I
жатыр.
have to leave it.
Don't worry. Two of them, both of them will come.
Good. So you have heard so many stories. Oh, before you started on YouTube, had you ever been on television? Had you ever been a host or anything? And what we call an MC? You know the word MC?
No.
MC? Yeah, master of ceremonies. Someone who
What?
MC is a master of ceremonies.
Master of ceremony.
So, for example, if you're at a wedding reception, you have somebody who's at the stage and who says, "We're going to do this next. We're going to do this
It's
next."
like host.
Yeah, exactly.
토이즈 주스ティックな場所.
Come.
But why are you asking this?
But because he's obviously very comfortable. You're very comfortable in front of the camera.
Yes. 카메라가 이제 예쁜 스탠스 so the 토이즈 주스코링 is
No. Never been.
Never been.
Мен өте қазақ тілінде өте шешенмін, айтшы.
Okay. I'm an orator of Kazakh language.
An orator of the Kazakh language.
I'm a writer.
Orator.
Writer.
жазушы.
Yeah. I wrote on internet 7 books. They published it. And I'm a good lecturer. In my Kazakh language, not in foreign language.
You're very good.
But my Chinese is also good. But with some accent, with pronunciation. But my Chinese knowledge is more. And I think it is time to stand up, teach the people, stand up, say the chas. whose loved ones or whom family members are arrested, please stand up and say. And because we went to collect more and more information about re-education camps. After that, we went to show the first-hand facts to the world, United Nations, human rights organizations, and our government, our Kazakhstan Foreign Affairs Ministry, our president. And I teach the people write applications letters directly to Kazakhstan president. Write applications letters directly to Foreign Affairs Ministry of Kazakhstan Republic. And that's we began to work. And the first time, one of my one of the Kazakh who is from Bortala also, his name is Jumadan Jarkambek, and his father arrested and sentenced for 10 years. And the first time I recorded the video by my mobile phone, and after then we began to record the video and publish it. Why? Because so many Chinese soft power at Kazakhstan. Because we published our social media, we published on websites about the re-education camps, about the people who are arrested in China, about the people who disappeared in China, and the Chinese soft power at Kazakhstan. They said it's a fake news. And they said I'm a provocator. And they said Mr. Serikzhan Bilash destroying the friendship between China and Kazakhstan. And they wrote that Mr. Serikzhan Bilash is a spy of Chinese Communist Party. They said, they wrote so many articles on websites. And after then I think, and it is time to record a video and let the people say the just themselves. And I began to, I recorded that video, Mr. Jarkambek, Jumadan Jarkambek's house, and he said, my name is Jumadan Jarkambek. My father Jarkambek, I forgot his father's given name, is arrested at what place, what time, for what reason. And sentenced for 10 years. All I recorded and published it. Next day, this video published one of the famous website at Kazakhstan called it abai.kz.
Okay.
But next day, deleted. Because our government, they don't like to talk about re-education camps. They have one unknown reason. Maybe the website gives some money from Chinese soft power, because private websites. And before beginning everything, our national TV also frequently visit us and they report about re-education camps. But after 31 May 2018, all the governmental media, TV station stopped the report about us. We send the invitation letter to this local and the private websites, newspapers, thousands of times. But they never joined they never attended to our conference.
Yesterday, the event you held yesterday, the Women's Day.
Yeah.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Did you invite media to that event?
Yeah.
Okay, who came?
No one. Even the Radio Liberty, you know, Radio Liberty belongs to me. They even didn't attend to our conference and the charity held yesterday.
So I was the only media there?
Yeah, you are the only one.
You have heard so many stories. Can you tell me, some of them must have really hurt you. Some of them must really make you feel pain. Which are some of the stories that you have found the most difficult to hear?
Just like some Mrs. Khalida's story, all family members disappeared. And some women, I didn't remember their name directly. And his brother tortured inside. And all his muscle separated because tortured. And the re-education camp find the family members and require, let the family members pay for the education center for 50,000 Chinese yuan. And they can't pay. Even some Kazakhs, they already get ill inside. But they didn't let them or send them to hospital. Even did you interview the Mrs. Karakat Abdesh? Karakat Abdesh шақыршы. And his brother-in-law, her brother-in-law, he will lost his one eyes.
In the re-education center?
In education center. But Chinese government didn't allow.
Oh, yeah, I spoke with you. I spoke with her yesterday.
Сенің сөйлесті ма?
Сөйлескен, бірақ жаңа ақша анау мынау нәрсе деп.
Жоқ ана сенің ана түрмедегі қайның ғой ана көзін айырылып қалуы мүмкін. And she said her brother-in-law will lost her eyes, but Chinese government didn't send this guy to hospital, and he will lost his eyes inside. 망ranla.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, that's happened in time, and they just let them changing one disabled person. He will become a disabled person, and even when he's staying at the re-education camps, his wife born one baby, and he didn't see, and he don't know. And the next one is one of the lady called it Anar Mukhtar Khan. She born in China and already get Kazakhstan citizenship. And when she visited China, because her relatives in China and her husband in Kazakhstan died. Because when she arrived in China, Chinese officials arrested her and put her to education center, and she disappeared at all. But in that time, her husband died at Kazakhstan, and she didn't know her husband already died.
We are, as you know, the Western media has now started to write a fair amount about the re-education centers. But there's also, there's the dangxiao, there's also house arrest, and there's also just arrest and people are being sent. Do you think, is it, I guess what I'm trying to ask is there a lot more happening in terms of detaining ethnic minorities in Xinjiang, that not just in the re-education centers?
Education center is very different, and the type is so more. Тарақат болсыңдар. Мен тек қана жаңа сен қайның туралы айтайын дегем. Қазір ана кім тағы бір келе жатыр, кезіктірем дедім ғой. Білмеймін, сөйлесем. Жер дауы 9 болады. Онда кейінге қалтырады ғой.
Бір күнге болмай ма? Мыналар түстен кейін анау түскен.
Онына қалтырсаңдар болмай ма?
Тілшіге қарап, егер тілшіге басқа күн болып жатса.
Давай, бір күнге болсын, болды. Қоса сал, болды.
Бұлар түстен кейін болса да.
Окей, түстен кейін болсын, болды. Жақсы, давай. Тоқта, кім ана бір журнал.
But is it true, or do you think you are hurting the interests of Kazakhstan as a country? Is what you are doing, is it bad for Kazakhstan as a country?
No. I just did this, how could I say, thing or case?
Single case?
No, my activity, I think, it is very helpful to Kazakhstan. I think. Because按道理按应该这是外交部的事，现在他们选了，而我来做了。It must be worked by Kazakhstan Foreign Affairs Ministry, but I did it instead of Foreign Affairs Ministry. We did it, and it is the case belongs to the Kazakhs association all over the association of the Kazakhs all over the world. We have one association in Kazakhstan, and the association's president is our president. But they keep silent. They just keep silent because they are the friend of the Chinese soft power at Kazakhstan. And the Chinese soft power, they are rich. They invite them and they let them travel in China, and they have a good relationship with all the famous persons, politicians, writers, poets. And almost 2 weeks ago, 70 Kazakh poets, famous writers, famous politicians co-signed one open letter to Kazakhstan president, Kazakhstan government, and the Kazakhstan parliament, and they write this letter against Atatürk and me.
So but were they accurate? What they said, their criticism of you, was it fair?
They said Atatürk is illegal organization and separating fake news and destroying the friendship between two countries, the two countries, Kazakhstan and China, and so many.
But is that true? I mean, that it's fake news? I mean, do you do enough work to make sure what people tell you is true? We make that testimony. We never publish any kind of news by myself. People will visit, and the translator will sit down together with this testimony of the person, and the testimony of the person will show the ID cards. My name is Jarkenbek Karkenbek, okay, and my brother Tarkenbek arrested in China, because he will say about his brother or family members. It is not fake. And he said, last 1 year, I didn't call him, and we don't know because he blocked my account in WeChat, and even I don't call him, we don't know if he dead or alive. Or he will say his brother or his uncle arrested by Chinese officials or disappeared. And that kind of news, it is not fake. It is more than 10,000 people. Okay, maybe they could say Serikzhan Bilash is a provocator. But how could they say about the people, all the ladies, all the guys, all the gentlemen, and the young people, young children, very little children? They say, I didn't see my father 2 years. And one baby said he didn't see his father 6 years. 6 years. So the Chinese argument is that they have had terrorist attacks in Xinjiang, and they need to be able to respond, and that if they respond by teaching people, by educating people, that is a very sort of human rights response. Is that not true? Does China not have the right to respond to
it's
terrorism?
Bullshit. It's bullshit. It is just an excuse. No one Kazakh terrorist in China. All Kazakhs, they has only one dream. They want to get one passport, and after they immigrate. Except it, they has any kind of another idea or another dream. They want to immigrate from China to Kazakhstan and speak in Kazakh language, and let the children study in Kazakh school, not in Chinese school. That's all Kazakhs' dream. But China forbids them.
Forbids them, right?
Yeah, I don't understand. China is one big population, more than 1 billion. And they said in China there are only 1 million and 1.5 million Kazakhs. But we believe that it is 3 million Kazakhs. because 1.5 million Kazakhs is almost 30 years ago. That's the old statistic.
What is your view when you look at things like the re-education centers, when you look at things like the Dangxiao, when you look at things like house arrest? What is your view on the overall goal for China of this campaign?
4 reasons. First, they want to make ethnic cleansing to the ethnic minority in Xinjiang, China. Second, they want to assimilate these minorities, and after then they will reach the genophond. Jiyinku.
Ah, okay, got it.
And because Kazakhs is very fightable, and the box, and the Shuaijiao is very strong, and Kazakhs only 80 millions all over the world,
right.
But our boxing is very famous in the world.
Right.
So they think if send the 3 million Kazakhs to Kazakhstan, and the Kazakhstan will become a strong country and one nation's country, not controlled by Russians. It is a total independent country. If there have so many Russians, they think Kazakhstan is not independent. But if there are so many Kazakhs, Kazakhstan will independent, because we educated in China and we learned so many Chinese technology also. And we will develop the Kazakhstan's business, we will develop the Kazakhstan's agriculture, so many things. And these things forbid it happening, and stay the Kazakhs, after then assimilate the Kazakhs, and let the Han Chinese men marry with Kazakh girls, and let the Kazakh men marry with Han Chinese girls. And first is ethnic cleansing, assimilating. Second, they want to occupy the nomadic Kazakhs, Kyrgyzs, Mongols, grasslands. They always say the Uyghurs is terrorists. It is not true. All the terror attacks is made by Han Chinese himself.
Okay.
And we believe it. And because of the Mongols, they are not Muslim. Kazakh and the Kyrgyz, they are Muslim, but not so fanat. I'm Muslim. Sometimes I'm praying, but sometimes not. I'm not fanatic.
Right.
If one village, they have 100 Uyghurs, every Friday, maybe 1990 Uyghurs will going to mosque and pray.
90, 90.
99. If one village, they have 100 Kazakhs or Kyrgyzs, maybe only 5 of them will visit mosque and will pray.
They here? Okay.
And that's Kazakh and Kyrgyz. And they also arrested so many Mongols, because Kazakh, Mongol, Kyrgyz, they are nomadic people. And they has hectares, hundreds of thousands of hectares grasslands. And this grasslands is very suitable, immigrant millions of Han Chinese and located in Xinjiang.
Last question.
And next one is this, the 4 reason: ethnic cleansing, assimilating, and the organ harvesting. And also they afraid of pan-Kazakhism.
Got it.
Pan-Kazakhism, because in Chinese language they write the Da Khasakajui. It is published in 1991 after Kazakhstan get independent, and they afraid that if the pan-Kazakhism is grow up, maybe the Kazakh people want to get independent from China, or maybe they went to the Kazakh lands, because Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture, it is the Kazakhs' old ancient land.
Got it. So your goal with publishing all these videos, what is your goal? What is your ultimate goal, your overall goal?
Show the world what happened in China, because we are the only one organizations in the world collected more than 10,000 of testimony, and only our organizations has so many former detainees. So we will show the world the re-education camp. It is worse than Gulag. It is worse than Nazi camps.
That's not, I mean, Nazi camps, millions of people die. That's not possible.
Bad in China, maybe after 10 years, because the unknown medicine, unknown injection, and they mixed so many unknown medicine in their foods inside the education camps. Maybe these people will die after 5 years, maybe after 10 years. Nobody know about it. But maybe the world will know after the millions of people die in China. Maybe they will lose the ability of make a children. And did you heard about that?
I did.
They lost their sex ability after release from camps. And the gentlemen, they can't make love. And the ladies, they can't any kind of interest to their husbands.
You've heard this from more people?
Yeah,
Many people, really?
many people. They called me all over the Kazakhstan after the release, called me privately, and they cried. They arrived in Kazakhstan after staying at re-education camp 6 months, 1 year, and 1.5 years. But already past the 3 months and the 6 months, they can't make love.
Okay, I need to speak with these people.
Okay.
This is great. I will call you if I have more questions. But thank you for your help.
A lady, and she married with Kazakh who born in China, and that's their son. You could speak Russian.
I do speak Russian.
That's good. And our people waited for you because today you are the third foreign media. First is Globe and the Mail, Canadian, and
We
next
will
is.
come on Saturday. Today we just come to
Talk with
Saturday.
me.
Yes.
Okay, I'm ready. Anytime.
And they wanted to see also how we can film. They said, how many rooms?
Let us play. Let's play.
Yeah.
Okay, World Cup will arrive tomorrow.
Okay.
And with one old lady, and this old lady is also released from camps recently.
Picture of
Kadr, Serikzhan Біләшұлы. Babanı kuşatamazsın.
The boy did videos, you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
On YouTube or
Crying.
something?
In any social media.
Is he gonna be here?
Yeah, that video is one atomic bomb in that social media because his father stayed in China almost 2 years and he spent 7 months in the education camp.
And is he going to be here on Saturday?
Şimdi 6,5 kere Osunda Şubat'a kulüpeliz mi?
Okay. And that,
Anne basmalarımı böcekler. Bilin şurada.
okay, that's good.
Bunlar böyle kulüpeliz basmalarımı.
Saturday, okay.
Yeah, it'd be nice if we can talk to the boy, we can film him, and then get the links for the videos on the internet, and then we can put them.
Okay, that video I will send to you.
Yes,
All the videos, HD format.
thank you. Yes, that would be perfect. Thank you so much.
And Dada, we have a 7 terabyte testimony.
Yes.
We have 8 documentary film. Any of them you could copy and get it for yourself.
We can download them into...
Not download, in our hard disk drive.
Okay.
You could copy if you need. And all this about our conference, about our charity, about the young guy, we collected just like these babies lost their fathers in re-education campus, and they will visit our office, make a conference and a testimony. My name is Mamamo, and I lost my father. I didn't see my father 3 years. And that kind of, so many videos.
Do you have any pictures? Do they have any pictures from back in China? What was it like in China when they were still in China?
From
No.
China, it
No,
is impossible.
no, it is impossible, honestly.
It
Who
is
can assist
impossible.
us? They don't dare to
One
send them.
Kazakh guy arrested because he took a photo that destroyed the mosque. And after that, he arrested and sentenced. One was destroyed by Chinese government, and he just take one photo and sentenced it for 10 years for one photo. Chinese government now just going to mad. It is just like the cultural revolution in Malta. You know Malta. When you walking, your style, resonance, anything you could recognize you. And even if you find one photo, any kind of the place, the camera will recognize who is blood type, any kind of biological information. And that kind of system, all over the world, only exist in China.
Yeah, like a laboratory for it.
Yeah, all the Kazakhs, even their voice, even, do you have WeChat app?
Which one?
WeChat app.
They
No,
use
no.
And if you want to download WeChat app, and if you want to create one WeChat account, it is needed your voice, and you will show one photo ABC or 7, 6.
Yes, it's a spying
And
software.
yeah, after then you should to read it in your voice. After then your temper, your hertz, everything recognized by Chinese government.
Because they're not allowed to have WhatsApp there. They only use WeChat.
All the information, even one Kazakh who born in China, he released from China, they will let them read one newspaper, any kind of newspaper. In Kazakh or in Chinese, you could record your voice. After then your voice, save it in the computer, and after then, even you staying at America or next corner of the world, if you say something on social media, you will recognize who I am. And that high technology, even in America, not exist.
Но сюрреализм лишь
So many of them already arrived in Kazakhstan, especially these guys. These guys almost lost their 2-year life in China, and almost 1 month ago he arrived. And this young lady called it Dina Egenberde. She's a very famous painter, and she finished the Art Institute of Xinjiang. And we recorded the testimony video from her relatives at the 2nd January 2019. And after 2 weeks, she released from camps because she was arrested because of her paintings. Because she painted about the Kazakhstan life, grassland, the nomadic life, and the youth. And because of her paintings, she arrested. And so many people, they didn't release from camps about this. Kairat Akler, one of the famous writer, famous poet, now under the house arrest. And these guys, these 4 Oralbay, all of them, family name is Oralbay. Dilshad Oralbay, one of the famous Kazakh writer, editor, journalist, and he wrote more than 10 books, arrested and sentenced for 15 years. And her sister, Baktugul Oralbay, editor, journalist in newspaper called the Kuitun newspaper, one of the city in Xinjiang, arrested and sentenced for 12 years. And the next Oralbay is Jurat Oralbay, tied from one of the bank in Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture as arrested without unknown reason. Next is Bagila Oralbay, both of them in one family. And he is a business lady, arrested and sentenced without any reason. No lawyer, no judgment.
And what about this child?
Who?
Sonra maması, babası, tıkımla, kişi
Ayşe.
falan.
Now?
Voslar мысалы.
These ladies. They are under the house arrest. He's only 2.5 years old. Nagmen Bahtele, Nurbaydogula. All of them, because he is a Kazakhstan citizen, already get Kazakhstan citizen. after he visited China with his mother is arrested in jail, and now nobody know about him. Disappeared.
And the father is petition.
Father in Kazakhstan. And about this, it is a very special case about Izzatollah Sayrangul. She is a filmmaker, editor, regisseur in Xinjiang television, but in not Kazakh sector, in Chinese sector. She arrested her because of she gave her SIM card to her mother. After her mother visited her from Kazakhstan to China, she lent her SIM card only one time, maybe 2 or 3 hours. And at that night, she arrested and after that disappeared. Almost 2 years passed. Nobody know if she dead or alive. And that kind of intelligent person. And about Serikzhan Bilәшұлы, writer, poet, worked in local TV station, now under the house arrest. So many people, hundreds of people.
So when we come back on Saturday, we want to
Gather the people.
Yeah, we want to film ex-detainees really, as many as possible. Like
Okay.
Burundian
Baimrat will write.
He will arrive?
He will write.
Okay.
Yeah. Tomorrow evening or noon, he will write. Our team are already organized everything.
So what time are they all going to come to the office?
Saturday?
Ah,
Very good. Very good, very good. That's the guy. Telephone Javasa. That's the guy. And his wife is very brave. His wife, we organized one illegal meeting in Kazakhstan illegal, and we organized 60 children like this, which their parents arrested in China, and we let them, let the children at Kazakhstan hotel, and we held one conference and charity. After that, we visited the Chinese embassy at Almaty. In that time, his wife is very brave and showed with Chinese embassy's one worker, one consul. Yes, that video is very famous in Kazakh media also. And after then, next very special case is 1.5 years he stayed in China.
Yeah, one is
And after
10
then,
months in the camp.
Who is your dad?
It's here. All of my family members are Kazakhstan citizenship. Kazakhstan citizenship. Only my mom doesn't have. So she just went to visit.
Also the like
yeah.
She had a green card of Kazakhstan. Although she's Chinese.
Onunçadan doğduğum bu 40 kumluk kalmadı.
40 gün.
Yani.
How can you
Almatı'da transfers?
Yeah,
So this is one of the ex-detainees who returned. I don't think he ever been interviewed by anybody, right?
yeah, new one, new face, fresh one.
And he was in prison in
Yes.
China for how
For
long?
10 months.
And
10 months. And spent 1.5 years in China. He was documents confiscated, they wouldn't let him out.
And even his
Returned
wife,
about
Kazakhstan.
a month and a half ago, he came back to Kazakhstan.
And what is the reason for
Олар не үшін сізді сол жерде ұстаған? Не демайды алып кетіп жатқанда лагерьге?
Маған
Себебін
неме
айтты.
мына Қытай қаласында паспорт ауыстырғандығым үшін дейді.
А сіз паспорт ауыстырып қойған дедіңіз, Қазақстан азаматтығын алып?
Жоқ.
Түсінбедім деймін.
А,
Мен
покажите сюда.
Қытай паспортым
Ондай
содан
паспорт.
кеткен.
Мен түсіндіріп беремін. He visited Kazakhstan after he get Chinese passport from Chinese local police station, and after he arrived in Kazakhstan, so many years passed. His passport's valid time is already expired, and before expired his passport, he has right to get new passport from Chinese embassy.
In
But
Kazakhstan.
in Kazakhstan, that's that's any kind of Chinese citizen can get new passport. But in Xinjiang, it is a crime. If you get new passport from Chinese embassy at Kazakh, and also Chinese passport, but the Chinese passport's local place is right, not Xinjiang, Almaty, Chinese embassy at Almaty. And that's a crime in Xinjiang, China. After Xinjiang police, watch, your passport is get from Chinese embassy at Almaty, they will arrest.
They told him the reason was because he applied for
How did they know the passport?
Because in passport they write the place.
What's the address of the passport?
Not address.
He went back to China.
Because not in address. If you get the passport from Beijing, they write the Beijing.
Beijing, if you get it
And if you get it from Xinjiang, they write Xinjiang.
Yeah.
But they write the Almaty. It means you got the passport from Chinese embassy at Almaty.
So how did they, I'm just trying to work
It
out.
says,
So
place
he
the
went
question.
back, and then when did they look at the passport and they know?
After he visited China.
No, when they arrive there, they have to show their passports at local district police.
I see.
They collect the passport and they
Yeah.
say, we'll keep it, and when you need to go back to foreign country, we'll give it back to you. And that's when they check
He
it.
has a passport from Kazakhstan.
Not, he didn't get Kazakhstan citizenship that time. It's the same Chinese organizations. The same Chinese passport. Just the word, Almaty or Xinjiang. So,
And then was there a trial? Did they have a trial?
no trial, no lawyer.
Don't think about trials.
Right, but do they tell him at the time, they say you're going to jail for 10 months?
They
Or
don't say jail.
they just,
Just
They-
nobody know how long time.
so it could be 1 month, it could be 10 years.
Yeah.
Maybe 3 years.
Nobody
And
knows.
one lady is released from camps. Gulzira. She stayed at re-education camps 1 year and 7 months. Nobody know how long they will stay in re-education camp.
And did they tell her that she committed?
Nobody work. Nobody
They
tell.
say,
Even
like for him, they said you got your Chinese passport in Almaty. Some people say you've used WhatsApp. It's,
Yeah.
some say you visited Kazakhstan, which is under 26 or 28 countries that are 26 countries that are forbidden countries.
blacklist.
In blacklist. Or some say you have contacted your relatives abroad. Some say you've traveled to Kazakhstan and came back. And they just give, they don't tell them we're going to put you in prison. They tell them we're taking you to the camp
72
to
reasons.
re-educate you.
Yeah.
Because you don't know Chinese and you don't know the local law. And they really do teach them the language and local party regulations and laws and everything. But sometimes they tell them you'll be released when you learn 3,000 Chinese characters. So they think they need to do it as quickly as possible to get it done. But it's almost, most of them don't even, after having coming back to Almaty, they don't read or write.
Even his name. Even he stayed at re-education camps 125 days.
O konuşuyorsun, bu Türkler olma.
This I
Listen.
When they get released from the education center, are they told why they're being released? Or they just one day they say, okay, now go?
Not everyone. Some of them say that, some of them have a paper saying that the person stayed here so many days and has successfully completed like the
He's a
course.
graduate.
Like a graduate. Some of them do. The others say that they have been, when they were released, they were told, oh, we didn't know you were a Kazakh, that you were already a Kazakh resident. You apparently are, and now we just wanted to teach you a little bit about China. Now you have learned and you can leave.
Nice.
Although they don't know anything, they don't know the language.
After Mrs. Gulzira told us, after she stayed at re-education camps 1 year and 7 months, the governor, the director of the education said, oh, your family member, your husband and daughter already get Kazakhstan citizenship. It is just an excuse. The Chinese police know everything, But they just pretend that they don't know. And after they teach, I said, so kind of teach the people, after they have to send them to the borders, because the loved ones, family members at Kazakhstan, they will publish video applications, send the applications letter non-stoply. And interviewed by foreign media like you, and the foreign journalists will publish their cases non-stoply, one by one. And the Chinese government, no one choice, no another choice, they send this, separated the family members to borders themselves and ask them or threaten them, scared them, said, never say about education center. And let them sign some agreement. And after when I am arrived in Kazakhstan, I will never speak up, or I never accept the journalist's interview. I never say about education center. And I say that Communist Party is good, and they are very good me, and they teach me freely, free food, free teaching. And they will sign so many
It was a
contracts.
wonderful holiday.
Yeah.
They have to pretend.
Yeah.
That's
And about WhatsApp, basically, nobody used WhatsApp in China. They used it while they're in Kazakhstan. And so the WhatsApp is downloaded on their phone,
Yeah,
That's the only thing.
sure, yeah.
Otherwise, they're not able to use it. That's just an excuse, There's thousands of different excuses,
And your mom is not in the education camp, but she
I had no idea. Since last 9 months, I had no contact with her. So we just, contact her through some people. But nobody knows. They said, yeah, she's okay. If I want to go deeper inside, they don't want to talk, my relatives. I don't have direct contact with her because she doesn't have a visa. She had, but she just, deleted it from her phone.
they don't like it. Nobody knows.
Nobody knows.
Most of them.
And even one of my relatives, basically the local government moved one of the mosques from the center to the outside of the city. And the government people, they said to them, if anyone volunteers to help out for the moving process, all the mosques stopped. And 12 guys agreed. And they donated some money and they helped with their cars to move their stuff, And right next day, they were taken to the re-education camp. Recently, I heard that they were sentenced for 4 years.
Tursunbek Berger.
And,
Did they tell them why they were sentenced?
sorry,
Did they tell them why they were being sentenced for 4 years?
they just said you're a terrorist, you pray, you believe in God. That sort of reasons,
And this guy, this gentleman is former detainee also. I kept him for you.
Oh, thank you.
New face. Nobody can see.
And what were you doing? What was your profession before?
He arrested under the ground 20 meters.
Is he a minor?
Not minor. One jail under the ground 20 meters and with chains. He stayed under the ground 20 meters for 1 week with chain.
But why was he arrested? What was his job?
His crime is his wife and the 3 children already immigrated from China to Kazakhstan. And this lady, her name is Oralkhan Abin. And she wrote hundreds of applications. Mana ekеу тыныш отырыңдар сендерде. She wrote hundreds of application letters to all over the world. And she published hundreds of video applications to YouTube channel and social media. And any kind of foreign journalists visited our office, she will attend there. And she...
That's called love.
Yeah, and after then she saved her husband from Chinese jail.
And do they have kids?
Yeah.
Yes, she has 3 children, 2 daughters, 1 son. And қанша уақыт екі жаққа айырылып қалдыңдар? 17 months. They separated the 2. And Chinese officials forced him, and he called his wife I went to divorce with you. And after that she cried and called me that time. I said, it is bullshit. Never, Kazakhs never divorce. Even you have 3 children. You have 3 children. And I said that your husband was forced by Chinese government. And you said, I teach her. You said, okay, I will divorce, but you have to pay for the 3 children. And after them finish. Because we know that Chinese police forced him to talk about it. And also, her mother, Kalcham Ahmed, now under the house arrest in China.
Because she was the guarantor of her husband?
Yeah. No, the same time. Her husband is in jail also, and her mother also in jail. 9 ay, in jail 9 months. Kaç yaşında? 65 years old woman, also jail. Әзір үйғамақ де?
Үйғамақты. Енді мұны сол лагерден шыққандан кейін кісі аяқ басылмай.
And now, after she released from camps 9 years, she became a disabled person. Now she can't walk. That's the same person. You could see, same person. Before
9 years.
Yeah, no, 9 months. 9 ay, 9 months. 9 months, I'm sorry. Same person.
Was she's also from China?
Yes.
But she's a Kazakh citizen already.
No, she is Chinese citizen. Қытай азаматы, but Kazakhs.
They're Kazakhs, okay.
Yeah.
And when did she come to Kazakhstan?
Бұлар Қазақстанға келіп пе? And she already visited the Kazakhstan.
But when did she become Kazakh citizen? I mean, when did she start living in
You said
Kazakhstan?
this lady?
Yes.
Сіз қашан Қазақстан азаматы болдыңыз?
2017
Қашан келдің? And she immigrated from China to Kazakhstan 2016 and 2017 already get Kazakhstan citizenship.
And what about her husband?
And сен қашан азаматтық алып бердің?
Алған жоқ,
He hold with Chinese passport and Kazakhstan green card. And when she arrested in China, when he arrested in China, he is a Chinese citizen, but with Kazakhstan green cards. Because in Kazakhstan, you didn't get directly Kazakhstan citizenship. First, you got the green card. After then, you got one document called the repatriation document. After then, you got third step. It got the citizenship.
Okay, but I'm trying to. What were they doing? What was their job?
Сен жұмысың не еді дейді?
Before they emigrated to Kazakhstan.
көтерме қара жұмыс. Кездеулер, жұмыс істедім, мысалы үшін үй саламыз, тамшылдап
He working at that стройка.
Construction.
Construction, yeah.
So labor job. Labor worker. Labor.
Labor.
Yeah.
And then he went to jail, to the camp only because he had his passport issued.
Yeah, because his crime is he sent his family members to Kazakhstan. And he visited the Kazakhstan. And before he get Kazakhstan citizenship, Chinese arrested him. Не үшін барып едің Қытайға?
Мен алдағы батыс болған.
Why he visited China? Because his one brother died in China. He went to attend the funeral after the arrest. So many Kazakhs arrested because of that kind of reason.
And what about a lady's mother? Why was she arrested?
Мына кісі неге ұсталды дейді?
Мына кісі осы Қазақстанға кетіп жүргендік үшін ғой.
Her crime is visiting Kazakhstan.
Oh, as well.
бітірген үшін.
And also she has green card.
So they all moved to Kazakhstan together as a family, but when he went back to visit,
Yeah, arrested.
that's when they arrested.
Yeah.
But the two of you went together from China in 2016 to
Yeah.
Kazakhstan.
Yeah.
And then the lady managed to get a citizenship, and he still didn't.
He also didn't. This lady already get, and he didn't
And why
get.
did she get the Kazakh?
Сендер азаматтық неғып сен тезірек алдың дейді.
Мен енді үш баламен осы жаққа келгеннен кейін алып алдым да мынау барып жүргенде қарап.
And because
Алам деп жүрген ғой, орамын куәлік алған.
Уақыттасы кетті деп.
Because that's they have one problem is about the repatriate documents. About the repatriate document. His repatriate document's valid time is expired. Because of that document, he didn't get citizenship that time.
Oh, so some paperwork.
Yeah, paperwork. You know, in our immigration policy, they have some bureaucracy also. You know, all over the former Soviet Union is very democracy, you know, very effective.
So we meet them all on Saturday at 10 o'clock in the morning, right?
Or all of them.
Two, there are three, then Jarkenberg, if you need them, four.
Orunbek 4, қасындағы апа 5,
So goodbye. See you
апа,
later.
Are you gonna come
Orunbектің
outside?
апасы бар, бір апа.
Yeah, hopefully. I'm not sure because I'm working as well, so I'll ask him to take a day off.
No, she said her mother is in China.
Yeah, I do.
Тоқта, мен бір минут орналастырып берейін, иә?
So you won't be able to.
Өзін-өзі өлтіремін деп аңдуды отырмайсың. Bye, see you guys. See you on
Thank you so much.
Bye.
Қарындас аты жөнің кім?
Маржан.
Сенің нөміріңді жазып. Her case is number 1. Because in one family, 4 gentlemen are arrested. In one family, one father and the 3 sons. And the 3 sons, one of them is her husband. And in one family, 3 of them are arrested, and the business occupied by local government, local Chinese.
What was their business?
You know Hanas Lake is very famous, good place, 5A tourist place in Xinjiang, China, and the number 1 tourist place, and it is just like Switzerland. And in that good place, they has little restaurant, little hotel, and they lend the horses to the tourists, and they earn money good. And after that, the first secretary of that Borjin County, Ili Kazakh Autonomous Prefecture, they went to occupy the business and arrested the 4 gentlemen. And the final...
And 3 sons?
And no, her husband, and her husband's 2 brothers, and her husband's father. And the court fined this family 2 million Chinese yuan. It is almost 367,000 US dollars. And almost destroyed the restaurant, destroyed the little hotel, and because she is safe, because she already got Kazakhstan citizenship. She already got, because she citizenship is Kazakhstan, and the 2 sons, 2 үш бала ма сенде? 2 бала, е? One daughter and 1 son. Because of Kazakhstan citizenship, she is safe.
Әйелдеріне күшпен қол қойғызғанын айтасыз, қысымасын, зорлықпен күйеулерімізді қарағу деп қол қойғызып күшпен әйелдерін қамаймыз деп.
And the Chinese government forced the 3 sons' wives and let them sign one document that the wife said that their husband is black hat.
Yes?
Yeah, criminal group.
Халықты да сол бірден шақырған ғой, зорлықпен сен үстінен арыз бересің деп, сен
Her husband did not come to Kazakhstan, right?
Her husband already get Kazakhstan green cards, but didn't get, because of the paperwork, didn't get Kazakhstan citizenship. And after they staying in China, arrested her.
But when did she move to Kazakhstan?
Qashqan, Kazakhstan, 2005.
And her husband moved with her, but continue having a job in the skiing resort.
Сен күйеуің Қазақстанға қашан келді?
Күйеуім 2006-та келген.
Her husband moved in 2006.
But he still continued having a business in the
Олар
resort.
сол сендер бизнестеріңді Қытайда жүргізіп тұрдыңдар ма? Сол қай жаққа дейін?
Қайнатам жүргізіп тұрған ғой.
Their business, their family business is controlled by their father-in-law.
Күйеуімнің Қытайда ақшаға жарайтын көп жері болды, сол үшін Қытайға барып келіп жүрген.
Because she said that her husband has so many lands. It is very expensive lands, property.
Yeah.
And they just went to sell it, and after they arrested her. And when they arrested her, he also Chinese citizen, but with Kazakhstan.
And when was this? When was he arrested?
Қашан ұстады?
2017-4 айда.
April 2017.
So
brothers.
for a year and a half, nothing.
Yeah.
And all the brothers
And all
and
the
the
brothers
father.
at the same
Олар бір
time.
уақыт ұсталды ма?
Үшеуін бірінші ұстады. Сосын кейін қалған үй анамынадардың
These three arrested in one time. After then, they let the one, her husband's brother, let him destroy the buildings himself, ordered.
Destroy what?
Олар үйлерін, ресторандарын шақты ғой,
ресторан, тамақ істейтін жер, жататын жердің бәрін.
And the hotel. Hotel ғой, қонақ үй ғой. Hotel and restaurant, and they ordered this her brother-in-law destroy the hotels, restaurants himself. After he destroyed everything, finished it, and after arrested also.
They ordered him to destroy the
That,
hotel.
yeah.
To knock it down.
Yeah, knock
You
it
speak
down.
English? Are you a former Filipino as well?
No, he's our team member.
Oh.
And our English and the Turkish translator.
Oh,
He
What's
is a
your name?
Kazakh from Turkey.
What's your name?
Kalman.
Kalman, nice to meet you.
Dada.
Where do you come from?
Where I'm originally from, I'm Serbian.
Serbia.
Serbia.
Where do you live?
Тыныш отыра ғой,
I
сен
live
бана
at
тыныш
the
отыр,
moment
жарай ма?
of Moscow.
Сен мына біз әкең туралы сөзді айтып болайық, жарай ма?
Where do you work? Newspaper, TV channel? With American TV. American TV. ABC.
Sizin telefonunuz yazar mı?
Қарашқа.
I'm Matt. Nice to meet you.
Adınız kim?
Қарақат.
Қарақат.
Тоғыз келіндер. Тоғыз келіндер. Бір күн шыдайсаңдар да тоғыз келіндер.
Abdeş Қарақат.
Тоғыз арыздан түсіп шешені құтқарып алмайсың.
My father was born in China, in outside.
Жақсы.
My grandfather was born in Kazakhstan. Zaysan.
Thank you. See you.
Nice to see you. Thank you.
We'll see you on Saturday.
Rahmet.
Сен бүгіні кездесейік деді.
Telefonunuz.
Оралхан!
On this
Мына
case,
кісі сен
I'm
бүгіні
just
кездесейік деді.
confused. Why did they order him to
Сен
knock
бүгін
down
сейік деп
the-
отыр, сен бүге кел. Жақсы. Жақсы. Бүгін тұршы отырдың ба? Тұршы отырдың ба, Тоқпа? Сен жаңағы қапырақтап жүгірді ғой біреу.
I'm just writing down the phone
Кім
number
ол?
in case we need to call.
Сен өзің құлатасың, бұл құлатты.
2016-2017
Біз құлатқан сен
әскер жіберген
құлатқан.
қаруландырып.
Тоқта. Динара.
Зданиенің бәрін шаққызды.
Динара. Кімнің Қарақаттың сөзін аудаш? Өте сұмдық ақпарат.
2016
Динараға айт.
2016-17 жылдары
In 16 and 17, 2016 and 17.
сол кезде бізде Қанасы деген жерде
Көл.
көлде сол таяққа тұрайында
Kol var mıydı?
үлкен жер болған. Жүзға земля қазақтар отырған жер болған.
Where Kazakhs live.
Сол жерден қазақтарды қуып шығу үшін
And they wanted to get the
Қытайлар
Kazakhs moved from
әскер
there.
қаптатқан қарумен.
And they brought military people there.
Сосын мен қайнатам
And my
сол
father-in-law.
жердегі недерді халыққа қолдарына үйде алғызған. Алып шыққанда бәрін тартып алған. Сосын кейін
Videoға?
үйдеға алғызып алған. Сосын кейін ана
They filmed
бір адам өлген сол жерде.
everybody who lived there.
Бір адам өлген қазақта. Сосын бірақ қалған халықты басып қырғанға шамасы келмейді өйткені неткенге. Өйткені бәрі үйдеға алып алды, ертең үйден таралып кеткеннен қорқып әскерді шегіндірген.
Sonda askeri barıp gelip videoga түскеніне өзіне қорыққан ба қазір?
Үйдеға түскеннен қорқытып оны жариялап жүргеннен өздерінің қару-жарақтарын.
Ол кезде чуть-чуть демократия бар.
So видеоға кім түсірді? Әскерлер?
Әскерлерді біз қайнатан бастан қазақтар түсіріп алған өздерін қырмақшы болып келген.
So the people, those Kazakhs who lived there, started videotaping those military people who were coming in. And at that time, he says it was still a democratic time. They didn't bear to demolish, to destroy anything, although they did come to do something, but because everybody was using videos. But one person died. Көтеріліс болған беді?
Көтеріліс болған жоқ, сол отырған орнынан кетіңдер деген.
Because they said and told them, you have to leave this place, this land.
That place is Kanas.
Oh, beautiful, beautiful.
Near the lake.
5A tourist place.
Pictures of your hotel.
Онда кішкене жердің өзі ақшаға жарайды ғой.
Even a small piece of land is very expensive there.
Yes, but do you have pictures of your hotel?
Үйлеріңнің суреттері бар ма дейді, қонақ үйлеріңнің?
Жоқ.
Жоқ, Чайна Қытайда қалды,
No pictures.
They didn't pick up any kind of
No, but
photo.
in 2006, maybe she had something.
Өздерінде бір фото бірдеңе қалмады ма?
Қайнатпамда болған бәрін бермей қойды ғой, қорқытты ғой.
Не?
Қайнатпам бермей қойды ғой документтарды. Сен ана жаққа арыздансаң, бізді бүйтіп түсіретін жаққа.
Her mother-in-law didn't let her get back any kind of documents or photos, and her mother-in-law afraid that when you going back Kazakhstan, you will write applications or publish some videos again.
İnternette yok mu sizin sürekleriniz?
No, but I just like a family in front of the hotel.
Сендердің ана үйлеріңнің ана үй отбасыларыңның сол хотелдеріңде, ресторандарда түскен бір видео, фото жоқ па? No? Wow.
Мен де ана жақта болдым, бәрін қазір әкеліп алғызамын.
Телефонға да түсірмедіңіз?
Қазір алғызайын десем, біздің ана жақтағы туыстарыммен қазір бірақ байланысты үзгізіп тастады.
They lost the connection with their relatives in China. Lost connection. They blocked them.
Could have sent the pictures, but they can't.
Сосын кейін мен қайнатам анам қалған әлгі видеоны бір дискіге шығарып барлық халықтың қолына
But she had hotel in 2006, so she must have some sort of pictures from 2006.
2006
It is not big hotel. It is just a hotel beside of the lake. It's just like one. Кішкентай нене hostel.
Осы 2013-2014 бері бар.
They didn't have a hotel in 2006. It was in 2013 and 14 that they started this business. And she moved here in 2005, right? So 2006. Back then, they didn't have that business established yet. They started it in 2013. So she doesn't have the pictures, but the pictures that she could have taken, they didn't let her take. And now they can't send it to her because, you know, they check all the WeChat and she can't even get in touch with her relatives now. Күйеуіңіз қайсы бір суретін көрсетіңізші?
Күйеуім.
One brother's
released.
There were 3 brothers, but one was released.
Сонда үшеуін алып кетіп біреуін жіберді ма қазір?
Үшеуін 4-ші айдың 2017-нің 4-ші айдың 21 күні алып келді. Ал мынаны 20 күннен кейін 5-ші айдың 12-сі күні алып кетті.
Okay, so the 3 were taken in April at once, and he was taken 21 days later.
After he destroyed the hotel.
Ана түсіргеннен кейін ба, ана қонақ үйді сындырғаннан кейін ба?
Сындырып болған күні, сындырып болдың ба деп телефон соғып тұрды. Шағып болдым деген күні алып кетті.
Yeah.
Did they tell him if you destroy the hotel, we'll allow your brothers free? Did they lie?
Айтты ма, сен мынаны сындырсаң, біз сенің ағаларыңды жібереміз деп?
Сәйкессең саған жақсы болады деді. Бізге сәйкесуің керек деді.
They said if you obey us, it will be good for you. But they didn't.
But he interpreted that to think that
Үйдің орнынан өздігімізден бас тарттық деп бізге қолдарынан қағаз беріңдер деп сөйтті. Біз бірақ
осы үйлерден бас тарттық деп па? And they made her.
Бірақ біз ол қағаз бермей қойдық. Соныған қысады.
So мынау ағаңыз сондай қағаз жазды ма?
Жазған жоқ, ұстап кетіп бізге айтты ғой. Бізге қағаз.
And they wanted them to write a letter confirming that they are rejecting those houses. Like they don't.
Disowning them.
Disowning them, yeah, the houses.
So they're nationalized. The houses are nationalized.
I don't believe they were nationalized, but they wanted to take those properties from them, and they wanted them to sign that they agree with it.
They're nationalized. So they're nationalized.
Бірақ ол ондай қағаз жазады ма? No, they didn't.
Oh, okay.
Oh, there you go.
Сосын ана неден кейін, халық көшпей қойғаннан кейін, мен қайнатам қолын алдына кеп бір сумка ақша тастады. Сол жердің адамдары. Сен жаңғыз біздің семьяға емес, жүзғаша семья отырған жер. Сол сен көш, сен халықты үгіттеп, халықты көшіріп алып кет деді. Саған бір сумка ақша береміз, 3 балаңа жақсы қызмет береміз, және ана өзіне ғана жақсы орын береміз деді.
Кетпей тұрып па? Или
2006 жылы айтты.
In 2006
It is a long history.
Yeah, in 2006 the father-in-law was nearly bribed. They brought a bag of money and said, if you remove all these people from here, we will give you this money and your children will be working in a good place. That's in 2006.
From the 1995, the Chinese government began to occupy the Kazakh grasslands in Xinjiang, China. Because Kazakhs are nomads, nomadic people, just like Kyrgyz, Kazakh and the Mongol. And our territory in Xinjiang, China is grasslands, just like the Almaty. Everywhere is very... Berget. Berget, all kept sürüyorsun. Former detainee. Berget. She is a former detainee. Rahima, yeah? Rahima. Қанша уақыт болдың түрмеде? 1 year she stayed at re-education camps.
And 2 children were here.
Even her husband and the 2 children at Kazakhstan. When she visited China, arrested and 1 year stayed. And arrived in Kazakhstan. Қашан келдің? 19th December 2018. She arrived.
So 3 months ago.
Yeah. Fresh one, new one.
And what was your experience like?
And she will tell you Saturday.
We'll meet her some
I think I have. Do I not have the brief of her story? Probably don't, because I'll give you her story.
Okay.
I'll just give you the brief information. Yeah.
Қазір барамын. Жарайды, сен бүгін келсе?
Altogether, do we have
Иә, сен бүгін кел.
how many people altogether
Сен ана,
we have on Saturday?
тоқта. Мен алдым.
On Saturday.
Yeah, we have.
And